G'day! G'day guys, welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. We are here in Sydney, the Gfinity Elite Arena. Kevin, we have a fascinating contest coming up, don't we? It's our first Gfinity Australia Intercity Derby, right? So we've got the Sydney Roar versus the Sydney Chiefs. This is big, right?
No, this is the biggest in the tournament by far.
What?
Biggest because it's Sydney, man. Sydney's the best.
Oh, in Australia?
In Australia,
Sorry
in all of
to rest
Oceania.
Australia right now. But yeah, cool.
But it is definitely exciting to see as well because these two teams, both very, very strong teams, and they're looking to push their way into, I know we've just started the Gfinity Elite Series, but looking into maybe the final season as well, this is going to be determining, I think, who's going to be sitting at maybe the second or third position.
You're making a huge call for the first show. So you're saying one of these players you think will make it to the final?
One of these teams.
One of these teams.
Yeah, I think both teams will make it to the finals, but the positioning is going to be based on this match.
So these are some of the best teams in the league. Is that
Absolutely. I think Sydney is obviously already great, and then I think these two will potentially be able to take out the top two positions in the league.
A lot of Sydney bias in general, I think, coming from Kevin. But that's cool, but they are huge teams. So we're going to check out the fixtures right now, the results that we have so far, and then what's coming up. So let's have a look now. We had the Brisbane Deceptors lost to Melbourne Order 16-11. Pretty even game, but it was really a case of the T's being the strong ones. And then, of course, we have coming up, we have the Sydney Roar versus the Sydney Chiefs. Huge stuff. And then later on, we have Perth Ground Zero versus Melbourne Avant. Right now, though, Kev, I want to talk to you about weapons in this game because it's a really important part of the game, isn't it?
Absolutely. We saw in the previous game how important it was for teams actually having the strong assault rifles and sometimes in a few critical rounds as well, how much damage that pistols can actually do.
And that has a lot to do with the economy, doesn't it, as well?
It does, because if you don't have enough money, you have to make a decision on what to force up, and, well, sometimes the risk does reward itself because we saw a few rounds where the force buy did reward with great success, and some rounds where you could see that you had the strongest weapons, but you couldn't kill anyone.
All right, well, let's find out a little bit more about weapons. We've got this awesome thing to watch that's going to teach us a little bit more about it. We have learned about the importance of economy. That's what we found out before. But now it's time to learn more about the different weapons that are available within the game. So check this out.
We understand how important the economy is in CSGO. More importantly, we need to know how the weapons interact and impact on round-by-round decisions. Understanding how this works is crucial for your viewing experience. On the first round of each half, teams start with a very basic economy. These rounds are commonly referred to as the pistol rounds because teams can only afford pistols and maybe some utility here and there. How the next few rounds pan out depend on the success of the pistol round, so these are very key pieces of the team's overall strategy. In the rounds following the pistol round, it is important to remember teams are trying to build their economy. This in turn will actually affect the weapon choices that they make. They will go for those high reward weapons. They will make risky choices, all in order to build the team's economy. Some of the more commonly used weapons in the game are the rifles and, of course, the sniper class AWP. Depending on which side will also determine which weapons are available to the team. Depending on the role of the player in that piece of strategy will determine which weapon they use. From time to time, you will see teams try different combinations. They will try multiple sniper weapons in order to deceive their opponent. Or, if they're after a faster, more mobile outfit, they'll generally arm themselves with rifles. Another important piece of the puzzle is utility, more commonly referred to as grenades, defuse kits, or flashbangs. These play a vital role in how the team sets themselves up for the round and can also be a crucial part in obtaining frags. Depending on the player's role within the team will determine whether or not they prioritise weaponry or utility. It is important for players to protect themselves from all different types of weaponry. An important piece of this is armour and making sure that you have the appropriate armour depending on your situation. As you can see, the weapons and economy of Counter-Strike go hand in hand. Managing your economy to give you the best weaponry in each situation can be vital in determining your recipe for success or disaster.
Man, it's a huge game of responsibility, isn't it? And I guess one of the most important things must be when the money's down, how you spend it, yeah?
Absolutely, and as well as, I'm not certain if this was mentioned earlier, but money isn't in a overall bank account. It's not like a shared account. Right. Everyone's got their own individual account only. So you've got to be tracking not only your team's money, you've got to be tracking your own as well. So that's where it does become a little bit lopsided when, I know we're meant to be talking about weapons, but economy is innately tied in with weapons, because if you don't have the money, you can't get the weapons and vice versa.
And obviously, I guess that's a team communication thing as well, because if someone in the team's just gone rogue, spending all the money on their own weapons, but not communicating to everyone else.
Yeah, it's definitely not good, because there is one strategy involved around that, which is what we call a hero buy.
Okay.
And that is when a team decides to make the risk and go, okay, we can have enough money to buy one assault rifle, but everyone else has to go for pistols, which are weaker and cheaper. And as a result, you give the assault rifle to probably your best player in the team, and it's just whoever dies afterwards, they pick up the assault rifle and use it like that. So it's a gambit, and if it works out perfectly fine, because you can actually win a round from that.
But surely, I guess the gambits and the risk plays are the ones that really make a difference, because as we saw in the last match, that AWP round is what you referred to it as?
The double AWP round.
Double AWP round.
We did... Jim did briefly discuss about the AWP as well. So he was talking about how normally you only have one sniper rifle on the team, and it's the most expensive. Yeah. And the reason for that is because it's iconic. It's known for the one-shot ability above the waist. So if you shoot them anywhere above the waist without going through any walls or anything, it actually kills them in one shot. So obviously you can imagine it's a very potent weapon, because it's just insta-click, someone is eliminated and just out of that round immediately. But it costs a lot of money. So already one AWP costs a lot. Imagine if you have two AWPs.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, it's a lot of firepower, because 2 shots means that 2 enemies is eliminated, and it's already a 5-on-3, so a very big numbers advantage. But if you lose both of them, forget about having...
It's also about who you give the AWPs to.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
If you lose those AWPs, forget about having any savings. You're going to be broke for the next couple of weeks and living off instant noodles. So,
which is not helpful in CS:GO, I'd imagine.
Absolutely not.
Instant noodles, you're going to be weak. Need to have a lay down. Yeah, that's rough. Hey, 2 huge teams about to go up against each other.
Yep.
You made a call before. You were wrong. Sorry to bring that up again, Kevin, but you were wrong. But
a sad truth, but you're right.
Do you have a call this time? Do you want to put it out there? Who do you reckon?
Are we just going straight for the prediction, or
just make a prediction?
Straight for the prediction.
Chiefs or Raw?
Chiefs, but barely.
Chiefs, but barely.
Sydney Chiefs, just barely.
Right. And what do you think? Who are the players that you think will put Sydney Chiefs on top?
Look, you're looking at 2 people. Dizzy Life by far, alongside with Flicks. Right. I could go through the entire roster and talk days about these players. Obviously, a lot of talented individuals on both sides. But these 2 players for the Sydney Chiefs have that X factor that carry the game away.
Really?
Yes. You'll see them very impactful in critical rounds.
All right. Well, I think that's enough talking about it. A call's been made. It's time to meet our teams. Ladies and gentlemen, in the arena, I want you to go absolutely nuts. Give it up for the Sydney Raw. Make some noise. All right, and a huge round of applause for their team that they're taking on. Give it up for the Sydney Chiefs. All right, lads. How you feeling, dude? You feeling confident?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to be here.
Yeah. Do you reckon this is your game?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Absolutely?
Yeah, Sydney Derby, 100%.
100%?
Raw.
Okay, huge. Raw reckon it's their game. What do you reckon? You got a chance in there?
Oh, definitely. I think it's ours to lose, to be honest. But, first game of the season, we'll see how we go.
Huge stuff. All right, it's Sydney versus Sydney, guys. It's all kicking off just after this break of the Gfinity Elite Series. Don't go anywhere.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Callum Murray.
Callum Murray.
Calamari.
Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare Iced Coffee.
Welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. CSGO is brought to you by Logitech Gaming Peripherals and Dare Iced Coffee. We're raring to go with our next match. Kevin, what do you reckon? What should we expect from these two Sydney teams?
A very tight contest between very seasoned veterans at the end of the day. If you combine pretty much all these players and their experience, you'd probably hit maybe 100% decades. I don't know if you hit a century of experience. There are a lot of guys here who have been playing since the first iteration of Counter-Strike. They played at international level. I think pretty much everyone on that stage has played at international level before. So they've gone and represented Australia's overseas in different tournaments. So expect a very, very tight contest at the end of the day.
Holy tamale, this is going to be a huge game. I can't wait to get into it. Let's hear what our casters think about this nest match. James and Geordie, your views please, sir.
Look, it's going to definitely be a nesting phase, Luke.
Yeah, I don't think
for one of these teams.
I don't think they're birds. I think they're Counter-Strike players.
Either way, one of these teams is going to be taking flight here today. It's a Sydney derby. We have the Chiefs up against the Raw. Now, as we said, this is a chance for some players to certainly stomp their mark on the competition. But it's a chance for redemption for other players because they're returning in, I guess, a scenario where they're the heroes. You know, they're the hometown heroes, but the battle will rage on for Sydney, I think, long after this match is actually done.
Yeah, well, like I think, Luke Havoc Payton, I think his moustache is going to be playing a factor today. The man, he had a lot of facial hair, and I don't think it's going to be in a good way. I think he may actually have a little bit of trouble breathing. Look at that. It's all over the place. He can't breathe. I feel sorry for him.
I think you're a little bit jealous. It sounds like jealousy.
I'm actually jealous. But
either way, we have the veto coming up here. And look, I'm not really surprised to see those custom maps banned out and train. Obviously, Nuke. But surprising to see Inferno and Dust 2 banned out for the likes of Mirage to appear. But then again, I think a lot of these teams are taking the safe route in the way they actually do the veto. So I'm not too surprised to see that actually come out in this instance. I think the theme for this series, particularly over these best of ones, are going to be safe choices. And I think Mirage is a very safe choice.
Yep.
That being said, it is a map that requires a certain level of teamwork.
That too. Look at that. All of the maps that are usually seen as the teamwork-based maps, they're all banned first. So we had Cache, Dust 2, and Mirage all as the last 3 maps. Anyway, we are going to be looking at the map here. Mirage, look at that. Ooh, nice little pan-through window. This is mid here. Yeah,
this is a key control area, obviously, on the map. It is basically going to give you easier passage into either one of the bomb sites, either A or B. But I think, you know, either T side or CT side, depending on how they go in terms of aggression, they will take control of that. B bomb site, obviously one of the more locked off bomb sites on I guess in the game, actually, to be fair. The B bomb site is very, very difficult to take, but it also, by that same token, is quite easy to defend there, obviously through those narrow choke points as well. But the A bomb site, very open. It is so difficult for T sides to actually defend once they get in. By that same token, though, the key contest area is obviously over there on the left of the screen at the moment. That's the A ramp. You see the Palace here up on your right as well. 2 entry points for the Ts, but going back a little bit further, there's that mid as well. So they get control of that. It's such an open map for them to actually take control of. And as we said, those key contest areas are going to be the areas that we're going to be focusing on when we see these two teams come to a head. Now, they're about to get ready underway. Any quick predictions here, Mac?
I think Chiefs are going to take this one. I just do. There's a lot more, well, I wouldn't say a lot more experience, but the players on the team, they've been playing a lot more recently. So I think that they are going to have the edge there.
The edge. There you go. That's what it's all about. Getting a little victories early on in the piece, and I think certainly Chiefs, the experience on those guys over the course of the series will not only increase, but those guys are already quite experienced as well. Whereas we're watching now Sydney Raw play in this iteration for the first time in quite some time. An official Top Gun, you taking some damage, son. I'm not sure how that actually transpired. But let's see if it actually has an effect on the round at all, as we do see now. Sydney just playing a very, very default spread here. We do now have Sydney Raw also looking to potentially sound a bit of a ruse.
Yeah, they're playing quite passive. We've got 2 watching the push at top mid, 2 over at A-ramp, and then 1 in the back of apartments. We see Badger peeking, looking to try and find some info. He is going to give up some info if they decide to go to apartments, but it looks like we are going to see a bit of an A-split coming in. Ince with a nice little one-tap. He's only shot 1 bullet, and he's picked up the first frag of the match. He's looking for a bit more. We do see Insanity taking down Dizzy now. Destiny looking to make his way through, connect to the bomb. come in with him. Flick's nice angle, connecting a couple of bullets, but not being able to pick up the frag. And Frequent, too sharp with the Glock, getting the headshot and taking Flicks down. Now, Interpulse as well, Insanity doing the honours there. Badger and Burn, last two alive. Burn can't connect anything there, missing all his shots. Now, it is all up to Badger in the 1v4. A couple of the raw are quite low, but we are going to see a beautiful shot coming out from Insanity. Picking up the headshot on the Badger, and the Sydney Raw take the first pistol of the game.
That is an important round. A huge confidence boost for these guys coming into this series. Now, as we said, you look at the two rosters. I mean, you'd be forgiven for thinking maybe 3 years ago these guys on Sydney Raw, definitely at the peak of their games. However, here in 2018, definitely the guys from Sydney Chiefs have the upper. They've got a lot of experience in their ranks. As we said, there's players that have played on all forms of stages across the world. And looking at the way that these two teams are actually facing now, you'd certainly... I'd like to see some of these Angels go the way of Sydney Raw, because I think they've got some characters there up on stage, particularly guys like Top Gun, guys like Havoc. Those guys certainly get right into it when it's flowing their way.
Yeah, cool. And we actually have a technical pause right now, so there has been a little bit of a technical issue, and we're just trying to sort that one out quickly.
Well, we'll send you up there, Mac, I reckon.
Send me up there?
Yeah, you've got the moustache for it.
Yeah, I'll get right into the computers. Bring my big wrench out and see if I can whack it and make it work,
That's the way we actually resolve technical issues. We just kick the computer. But look, either way, we saw an interesting first round here from Sydney Raw. Now, the way that they were actually able to, overwhelm Sydney Chiefs. Sydney Chiefs, to be fair, didn't actually hit quite a few shots that I would normally back them to hit. Except for Ints. I mean, he's actually quite a devastating player on the pistol round, so he's certainly one that I would look to actually... make those opening frags, particularly in the half when he's got that USP. He looks so dangerous. He's a player, recently may have, lulled a little bit in terms of form, but he's a player that, in the last couple of weeks has regathered that form through his performances in some key moments for his team. So, I mean, you're looking at the face of Top Gun there. He's probably one of the most chiseled men in Counter-Strike.
Mate, he's beautiful, isn't he? Look at that. Oh, look at the wink. Look at him. Such a cheeky boy. Anyway, let's go back. There was a lot of structure shown by Sydney Raw. I didn't expect that much structure to be coming out, especially in a pistol round. The 2-2-1 setup, holding nice long angles, just waiting for the picks, and then they grouped up, hit that A site. The split worked perfectly. They got all the frags they needed. We actually saw Burn, who was given a large opportunity to pick up a couple of frags there, and he just whiffed all his shots. He just couldn't connect.
That's it. Only scoring 10 points for Whiffendor at the moment. But either way, we're looking across the screen here. We see some of the guys on Sydney Raw. They're looking quite cool, calm, collected. You've obviously got Destiny there, a player that came through the draft system as well. Important to note that Insanity, also from Sydney Raw, was also included in that draft as well. So for Sydney Raw, these guys are actually, choosing some guys to work with, particularly, Havoc and Top Gun. Those guys are working with some players that want that chance. They're hungry for that chance. And I mean, we're working through that issue, which should be underway soon. But this is their chance. This is the big stage. This is the big leagues. This is a real chance for those guys not only to prove themselves for the draft players, but also for the players to, have that redemption story, that that homecoming that they always wanted. So we're going to go back into this one, with Sydney Raw holding on to that 1-0. But let's just see how this round pans out, because we all know that anti-eco rounds in Australia are some of the toughest rounds in the game, because teams do have a slight, let's just say, issue with holding on to choke points. They always seem to be caught off guard by eco rounds, and it's simply just a matter of sticking together, particularly on that CT side, make sure those crossfires are maintained. That being said, a lot of the times on the the eco rounds, or these force buy rounds that we're seeing now from Sydney Chiefs, they're coming into rounds like this with weaponry and numbers in choke points. That's the key point, is the fact that they're going through the choke points quite forcefully. There's just not enough in these early rounds. It's a real balancing act for the sides that are on anti-eco. Do you invest a lot of money in utility or upgraded weaponry, or go for those SMGs? It's a real question, because let's face it, if you go for the utility and you go for the SMGs, the firepower, it's not enough in these instances. You are often overrun, and often you don't actually have enough time to get your grenades off either. That being said, do you risk it? Do you turn over a rifle to your opposition? Do you give something in their hands? Because usually in these rounds, they're coming in with armour give them a rifle, and they seemingly just become more powerful.
That's it. And we are back. 5 seconds left in the pause time. And we are going to be...
For Mac. What are we looking for? Headshots?
I'm looking, and I don't see any utility. I was hoping I'd see a flash coming out from Chiefs, and they'd get aggressive towards A main. But it's not what we're going to see. They're going to be playing a 2-1-2 setup. Sydney Raw, full anti-eco. Even Top Gun, though, quite aggressive here. All the way up in A main.
The boys in blue are Sydney Chiefs at the moment, and they're looking quite dangerous. As we said, though, looking at the spread of weaponry, they're using that SMG here in Destiny to actually just sound things out. They've sent him into B. He's been taken down. Willem, a.k.a. Badger, has copped some damage, but he actually stops Destiny in his tracks. Now, that's not an uncommon strategy to send someone with that SMG into a bomb site just to sound things out, see if they've actually stacked a bomb site, but no success, no comprende. And Infrequent here, just looking to see if anybody oversteps their mark and is going to give him an easy frag here in mid, but not to be the case. Sydney Chiefs holding on for the moment to that number advantage.
Here we are, Flicks with the season playing close range. Although Top Gun ready for that one. Peeking with the MP7, going to be picking one up onto Flicks and Infrequent. Finding Ints as well. Beautiful little one-tap with the AK. Dizzy though with the CZ. Can't connect any more bullets. He can't find the second. Infrequent will get that trade, and we are left in a 2v3 situation. Looking like Raw are going to be able to take this one, but there is a Deagle and, well, 2 Deagles and a Mac-10 in play. So, you know, anything could happen. The man with the Mac-10 could be running around like a crazy boy.
You could be like Mark Morrison and be the return of the Mac, but either way, they are just going to simply hold them at bay. Looking for these exit frags here, Chiefs. I don't know if anybody's going to offer them up for the meantime, but
except for Havoc.
Oh yeah, they tempt fate here. Willem looking for a scalp or two, can't find it. They do survive for now, but Burn, are you okay? Is looking to potentially cash some checks here in mid.
He might find something in a second if Havoc peeks the wrong direction. Although Top Gun fully ready for the peak. We'll hit the headshot, and we are going to see Raw lock down the second round.
Important round as well, that round, as we said. Now, we're going to see Sydney Chiefs here looking to just full eco. They might upgrade a pistol here and there if they can actually get something going. But, I mean, in terms of their money, it's not definitely the best it can be, as we see Sydney Raw at the moment looking quite good. Now, they've got a bit of a mixed bag here at the moment. I like to term this one the Whitlam sampler. They taste good, just like the end of your finger.
What's a Whitlam sampler?
Are you too young for a Whitlam sampler?
I have no idea what a Whitlam sampler is.
So basically, Whitlam's chocolate company, they give you a range of different chocolates to taste everything in their range. A Whitlam sampler. That's a Whitlam sampler. So basically, you get one of everything.
So it's like going for beer tasting.
Okay, yeah, we can use that terminology.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I know a bit more
it's a
about beer
platter.
than
It's a full
chocolate.
platter.
Yeah, full platter.
Yep.
I like it.
As we said, there's a momentary technical pause here for Sydney Raw, but they need to keep it down to a dull Raw at the moment. They're going quite well. Either way, Mac, early instances, are the signs good for Sydney Raw?
Well, you know, they've won the first 2 rounds, so yes.
How to state the obvious, 101. But do you think it's something that they can maintain? Do you think they've got it in the tank? Obviously, we know that there's some firepower on this Sydney Chiefs roster. We've seen them in the early instances hit some shots that they normally wouldn't hit. Is it just a case of them needing to warm into the game?
Maybe. They haven't played together for too long, so they just need to find their feet. You know, after they do start to hit a couple of shots, which may or may not happen this game, you'd hope so. You'd certainly hope so. We may be able to see them, you know, pick it up a little bit, but right now, Raw just, you know, hitting the shots that they need to. They were given, Chiefs, they were given so many opportunities then.
Now, watch this round. The reason I say that is because Raw are going to make that call. They know that their opposition really can't afford to force into it, so they're going to send out that SMG, as we said, the most expendable weapon. You mentioned that in the last map. That is, in this instance, Top Gun. So look for him to try and be that that investigator, the private eye, the Sherlock Holmes, potentially going to be Sherlock Domes. But Infrequent here is under some duress. And teammate to the rescue here. Insanity finds one. But that USP does some damage here. It is a 4 versus 1. They've actually navigated this round quite well at the moment because Berno UK is on 1 HP. There's not a lot he can do. There's no weapons on order. And Top Gun takes him down.
He did a good job to dodge those nades. I think there was 2 nades thrown at him, and he was just out of the blast radius. Used the cover to dodge the damage and stay alive, even though
die hard.
Yeah, he eventually was taken down by the MP7. But those HEs, the boys need to learn to use their utility.
The HEs are the most inconsistent things in the game.
They really are.
You can throw them, and it can be the most perfectly placed grenade. But if there's some random pixel on the map that's blocking it, like a paperclip, it can just do no damage, which is devastating in those instances because you've done all the hard work, you've calculated it, you've thrown the grenade at the right time. But look at the way that they're grouping up here on A ramp.
Ooh, they've started to get a bit aggressive. Out of A ramp, flicks, perfect crosshair placement to catch Top Gun, falling off the balcony. Insanity gets the trade. Now a little bit of utility left. They didn't execute, so the rotate's coming out a little bit late. We do see Ints coming all the way through T-spawn, But Raw, they haven't got the bomb down yet. They are giving Chiefs the time to go for these rotates. Burn decides to go for the repeat for some reason, and Infrequent doesn't let him do what he wants to do. Int's going to be coming on the flank. Wolf won the double. Gets a headshot onto Infrequent. Now in a 2v2. We are going to see Badger trying to hit the shots, but Destiny going to be the man to take him down, and Ints is in a 1v2. He's already picked up 2 frags. He will have to get the 4K to win the round. He's making a bit of noise, dodging the flashes successfully. We'll find one on the Destiny now. Havoc, last alive on default. Gonna get the good timing. Swings as Ints was looking under balcony. Hits the shots, and Raw are going to pick up a 4th round.
Tell you what, though, that round was a lot closer than I anticipated it to be. Ins on that flank did a lot of damage, and more importantly, what he did was unsettle the position that the Tees had in that post plant. So for them, they actually had to peel their eyes away from their choke points. They were worried about what was happening in the back, and Ins really could have turned that round completely on its head. Not to be. Got down to that 1 versus 1, and it went the way of Sydney Raw, but there's some aggression coming out here from the CT side. You can see they're buying into it with pistols. The Eagles, not surprising to see that. The one-tap potential from these guys is massive. And Berno UK is one of the most proficient players with that pistol.
Yeah, Insanity, the first to get a pick this round. Long range with the Mac-10. I'm not sure if we did see Dizzy with any head armor there, any helmets on. Nice Molotov, going to force Flicks out of position, but with the CZ, he could have done a bit more damage. Top Gun and Destiny both going to be picking up frags there. Now Burn last alive again in a 1v5. Can he keep the dream alive? Beautiful little jiggle peek to bait the AWP shot, but Havoc too sharp, hits the headshot, takes Burn down, and the Raw still not letting Chiefs crack the egg.
No, and look, Burno UK, one of the most polite players in the game. It's built into his name. He's always constantly checking. But either way, Sydney Raw after a flying start. I mean, they've navigated the difficult rounds, but this is the real test. This round coming up here, after this pause resumes, is going to be the real telling sign for these guys. Reason being, it's that second gun round. It's that second bite of the cherry for the CT side, and this is where their money bonus is starting to tick over to that maximum. So for them, they may be able to continue to force buy or buy into other rounds, depending on what their money's at, depending on whether or not they purchase in AWPs, etc. But I mean, for the moment, it looks as though there's only really going to potentially be one player that's managed his money to the maximum. That's Inns, obviously getting a few frags there in the instance. But they're looking ready, Sydney Raw. They're looking like they can actually rise up to the challenge.
Yeah, well, we do currently have another tech pause, which the Chiefs have called.
What did you do with your wrench, mate? Why isn't...
I think I broke everything. I went up there to see if Bone was okay, and he got really angry at me and hit me, and then I was like, man, you can't do that. So I broke everyone's computers. I felt like it.
That's a really interesting narrative.
Yeah, I know. It was, you told me it was nice, but I was trying to save that one for later. I didn't want anyone to really know, but
no, look,
it's hurt me a little bit.
It has.
Emotionally.
It has, and hopefully you will recover from it. Hopefully Sydney Chiefs will recover from this 5-round deficit. But as we said, the game has that inbuilt function with the economy that gives teams, I guess, a bonus. It's called a loss bonus in this instance. Now, that money will keep accruing until a certain point. But actually, it doesn't cover all their losses in rounds that they have bought stuff in, but it's enough to keep them ticking over, particularly if they start to get the plants and start to get the money going that way. It poses a lot of difficulty for some CT sides to navigate, particularly if their money is kept quite thin. So, do we see that start to happen here for Sydney Raw? Do they start to potentially lose some of the momentum? Obviously, we know that any pause of any kind starts to really take away some momentum here. Now, I know you're deep in thought about this, but do you believe that momentum plays a massive role in best of ones?
Oh, definitely, 100%. If like they've got 5 in a row. If Insanity runs out mid with this Mac 10, gets kill at long range against a rifle, the tilt factor coming out for Chiefs is going to be absolutely huge. That being said, Insanity probably won't run out mid with the Mac 10 because that's a very silly decision. But it's been done before. We've seen it done. You know, if you have that short smoke, there is the opportunity to jump through it, land in mid, get as far down as you can.
With a Mac 10.
With a Mac 10.
I mean, you could do it with any gun, but Mac 10 is style points.
Style points. Quite an easy spray pattern, though, even when you're running.
It is, actually. It's disgustingly easy to control. And now, I'll tell you what, Frequent just gets his toes burnt there as he tries to step away. And, I mean, they know he's in there. He's certainly made some noise. They heard the tick damage of the Molotov here. But look at this aggression here from Inns. This is what I like to see, the confidence coming out. Inns takes that frag on Havoc at top mid.
Did he spot the bomb, though? Or
I don't think they have. It's just hidden away. So locating that bomb and communicating its position could be huge. Now, they will see that on the radar here. So Inns is on a fantastic tear here if he can get another one. More importantly, stay alive because he's a threat. He maintains number advantage for them, but he's got some backup.
he does make it back to the cutout for the moment. We do see Burn coming to help him out, but the bomb is still down in a terrible position for Raw to try to get it back. But we are going to see Inns, Badger, and Burn all falling there. Each of the Raw players left the lab going to be picking up those frags. Destiny going to be finding one more into Flicks, and it's all up to Dizzy. The man with the AWP in hand. That bomb has been retrieved, and we are going to see the Raw taking it over towards the B site, but will Dizzy beat them to it?
That is some silky movement.
Oh! The man, he makes the short jump and he hits the shot onto Infrequent. This bomb is still going to be going that direction. The smoke coming to break Dizzy's line of sight. He's holding for the moment. The bomb goes down. Top Gun jumping, going to be taken down. Dizzy hits that shot, and now in a 1v1, Top Gun is going to get that trade. That was almost absolutely massive for the Chiefs. But the Raw bring it back from the brink. Wow.
And I know they call him Dizzy Life, but he can just so easily take it, can't he? He made it look so simple there too. And I mean, to be fair, Raw, it wasn't easy for them. They all had to run out that single choke point. So in terms of that, it's very risky. Obviously, they weren't to know he had that AWP in the first instance there. But I mean, Top Gun, he had the tools in hand to get the job done. And tell you what, Top Gun now is actually eventually overwhelmed. Burn, are you okay? Taking the AK away from him and may get caught out. No, there's no one actually on T-ramp to make that trade whatsoever. But Destiny, he's got control of mid. Now, I think at the moment they're just going to hedge their bets on that B bomb site as they do take control of short as well. So not a bad call coming out, but Flicks might actually rotate in time to actually secure that bomb site and just provide some presence there as well. But Destiny takes down Burn on the A bomb site, and that CZ did some damage, but didn't finish the job at all.
Yeah, and there you go. We are going to see Raw picking up a 7th round in a row. There actually has been something that happens, right? If you're going for the 16-0, this is the round you lose. The 8th round, for some reason, is the one that people struggle to win.
Yeah, well, we've spoken about that max loss bonus. They're at it. They're at that max loss bonus now. So they've lost enough rounds in a row to continue getting that maximum amount of money, which is just going to keep filling their coffers, and it's going to keep allowing them to buy more regularly than they normally would be able to if it wasn't in play. So Frequent here, he actually does manage to dodge the Molotov this time, get himself up on that comfy lounge chair, and more importantly, look for an opening frag. He did find it last round. Actually, I do believe he legged his opposition and actually finished them off with the Glock. But now this is an important round here for Raw because they can really start to hammer the nails in that coffin one by one.
Look, Badger moving around like a maniac. ADHD. Couldn't stop moving.
Badger.
Badger. Wow, that is a very nostalgic throwback.
I'm all about the throwback.
Back to high school. Wow. Anyway, we do see Badger still playing up on the balcony, looking to get a bit more aggressive. The AWP is still there on Infrequent, but he has fallen back for the moment. Maybe playing that pixel angle all the way to balcony. Let's see what he's doing. Inseer has an AWP as well.
Now, Badger just looking for that info play here, just jump spotting that B halls as the rest of the team do make that shuffle through. They've got control of mid, but that actually means what they're doing right now is controlling the information and masking information that the CTs can gather. So they're going to make their way into this A bomb site. Opening frag there for Destiny. Flicks goes down. They do still have control of CT ramp though, so they've still got to navigate that, but the bomb is not on its way to A. It's actually in B here, and they do still have to deal with Badger. He can only find one. That bomb should go down. as Dizzy Life takes Havoc down on a rotate. Didn't expect the second, though.
It was a nice little play, you know, partner little play, traded out, and it's worked. And now Burn last alive on the A site. They know where he plays. They know where he's going to be coming from, but Destiny gets the bad read. And Burn looks like he may actually try to go for this one. They do have that max round loss bonus, so it shouldn't matter too much if he does fall. It would be nice to keep the AK, though. And here we are. He's looking to go for another retake frag, but infrequent. Posting with the AWP. Going to be taking Burn down. And there you go. The Raw, they're going to pick up an 8th one, and I was completely wrong. Yeah,
look, this battle for Sydney just got really interesting. Because everybody out there doubted the Sydney Raw in the sense that, look, would the guys that are returning, would they have it in the tank to return and, I guess, stake their claim? They're up against some of the best players in that Chiefs roster. And, you know, as we said, there's a wealth of experience on both teams, but the most recent experience falls in the hands of Chiefs. So, at the moment, they're back on that pistol buy. They're not really able to afford too much. Obviously, there's a little bit of potential for chaos in there at the moment. But the capitalisation on chaos right now is coming in the form of Destiny. He loves these scenarios, that broken play, getting right in behind his opposition. He's the kind of player that really thrives in these scenarios. And you're seeing what he's doing right now. Even by showing presence there on the A ramp, he's stopped the push. He's stopped the CTs getting information. But he's also finding himself pushing at the right time, getting behind a lot of people. So this is probably not the round for him to do it. He knows that they're on that force buy. He's not going to take too many risks. He's going to wait for his teammates to gather towards this A-bomb site, and that's where they're going to group up.
And here we are. We do see Raw pushing all the way through A. Destiny. Oh, he didn't spot the angle. Oh, Dizzy with the CZ. Going to find his second for the round. Landing the headshot. Insanity, though, taking down Badger. Now we are left in a 2v1 situation. Nice nade from Havoc to take down Inns. Now Dizzy last alive. They know where he was, and he's still roughly in the same position. So he may be spotted in just a moment. Insanity running around, hitting shots on the walls and not on Dizzy, who's going to be heading underpass, picking up that AK that he took out of the hands of someone earlier. I think it was actually Top Gun.
Yep.
And there we are, smoking himself off, making sure the Raw have to push through that smoke to try to get the gun out of his hands. And with 15 HP, it looks like he may actually be able to save this weapon.
Yeah, time might just be on his side. To be fair, though, Havoc's going to come close. So this is going to be interesting because I guess the question is how far is Havoc going to go to try and get this frag. They will save out that weapon, though, by the looks of things. Okay, I nearly cursed it. I tried. I tried so hard not to, but it proves that you don't listen to a thing I say in that regard. But now, Chiefs, did you expect, when you went into this matchup, did you expect it to be a 9-0 on the T side of Mirage?
I thought it was going to be a 9-0 in the other direction.
Fair.
But, you know...
What did Kevin predict?
The Raw proving us wrong. Actually, I'm not sure.
We'll keep track of that. I want to know Kevin's prediction score as they do find that opening frag here. This is better from Chiefs. They're holding stronger in mid. They've put up a wall, but tell you what, Top Gun and Insanity have done their best to break that down. Top Gun's back and looking for some frags. It's back to a 2 versus 2. Now, look at the size of this map. 2 players. They have a lot of ground to cover. And it's best that now that Raw group up to try and do this. But, I mean, Burns making an interesting play here at the moment. So he's going to definitely be the telling piece in this puzzle.
Well, it was a good play. They did know that the T's had a lot of mid presence there. So pushing A main gets him the info. And if any noises are made, any sound at all, coming through Palace, he is going to know. But Dizzy as well, I think he went through underpass there to come through apartments on the flank, and the Raw may actually just get the A side here. Burn may have the read too.
This is still risky from both teams. At the moment, like Burn can be completely bamboozled. He has no information to work with, obviously, in terms of what's behind him. He knows that the potentially T-spawn is clear, but doesn't know for how long. So he's got a really nervous job right now of just checking both angles, whereas obviously Dizzy's doing the same thing but at the opposite bomb site. So this is going to give away the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he heard the drop there, although this rotate coming in a little bit late from Dizzy. Burn going solo.
Ooh. That's a big frag.
That was a big frag from Top Gun, but it was almost a misplay from Burn. He definitely should have waited for Dizzy there and tried to play with his teammate, especially in a retake situation. Although Dizzy, he may be able to pull this one back, almost hitting Top Gun through the smoke. Can't connect the bullets for now. Oh, can he see the top of that head over towards Firebox? Molly coming out, going to force him out of position. The peek comes out. He just gets that one. Molotov. Who is this? Top Gun standing on the other edge of the Molotov. Dizzy thinks he's at triple. Top Gun, he's going to win this one. Pulls out the P2, hits the headshot.
My goodness.
And the Raw not dropping around yet.
That is what we call the hot shoe shuffle.
Oh.
What he had to do in that position was the hot shoe shuffle. Obviously, there was a lot going on in that round. There was a perfect flash too, as well in that instance. It blinded both of them and allowed him to get better position in that instance, but couldn't make the frag when it counted. Top Gun coming through, 10-0. I'm not surprised to see a tactical timeout coming here. But are you surprised to see it coming out from Sydney Raw?
Actually, yes.
Is at that point, is it BM? Is it like, guys, I just want to remind you that you're down 10 rounds here.
Yeah, I don't think it's BM. I think they just don't want to get ahead of themselves. With the technical timeouts that were coming out, that might have actually played in their advantage. Like the Chiefs may have started to hit shots and started to feel it, and every little pause is just going to be, hurting them that little bit.
Yeah, and in terms of that instance there, obviously, look, I'd be curious as to whether or not there's another a tech pause on the back of this tack pause, but Raw, working together as a unit, they're taking control of key areas far better than their opposition. We've only seen some, I guess, early instances of aggression come out, but they've looked good in the early parts. Chiefs have found those opening frags, but they haven't been able to capitalise on that whatsoever. Even in the instance where we saw Inns push up top mid, he was sitting there, he had the bomb down, there was a smoke in his favour, but seemingly like that, things turned back over in the favour of Raw. So as far as that's concerned, those are the rounds you should win. When you have a 3 versus 5 advantage, they're definitely rounds that you should be converting in your favour as a CT side. You shouldn't be losing those rounds. You have perfect number advantage. If you trade out effectively, you're going to win.
That's it. And if there was a round that the Chiefs were going to win, it was definitely that round where Ince got the bomb. The Chiefs didn't react fast enough. It seems like they needed to come and help Ince out. Like Burn turned up, but they just wanted the map control, so they left people on the B in the A site, and it just wasn't the play in the situation. They definitely needed to play for that bomb. Also, I have received a little bit of information that off the back of the tactical timeout, we are back into a technical pause.
Yeah, the difference between the two, obviously, you can talk in a tactical, you can't talk in a technical. So they've already had their chat. Maybe this is time for Chiefs in the sense that they need to, cool off a little bit. They've obviously got Tama up there, who's a draft player for Chiefs, providing an extra set of eyes for the team as well. So a bit of morale support, obviously a bit of strategical support for them too. So it's good to see him actually getting involved in that particular regard because he has a wealth of knowledge that they can tap into in this instance. It's one of those things. When you're in the game and, you're so, I guess, sometimes blinded by what's going on around you, you can't sometimes see the forest from the trees. You're potentially thinking too narrowly, having a coach, just as someone to, I guess, potentially work through any issues from a completely neutral perspective and a completely overall perspective is a massive tool for some of these teams. So having Tama in that position hopefully will get them the next couple of rounds. But at the moment, it is traffic all the way of Sydney Raw. And I mean, Sydney's not really known for good traffic, is it?
No. How long it took you? An hour and 50 minutes to get here the other day.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, look, it's...
Public transport, it definitely helps a little bit sometimes. Might get a bit stinky like I am right now. But other than that...
But you look good.
But you look good, and that's what.
Speaking of looking good, the prospects of this round going ahead are looking good, and Sydney Raw are looking to continue that momentum that they have started. Hopefully, the timeouts didn't really affect that too much. Obviously, we saw it happen earlier in the match, and it didn't really seem to faze them because they're here. They've arrived at a 10-0, so they're doing something right. And, well, I dare say they're doing a lot of things right now. Insanity has actually gone down early in the piece. So this is good news for Chiefs, but we've seen these sorts of things not necessarily go their way.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to see Raw take it a little bit slower. They have got this mid control, which seems to have been given up. Looks like Chiefs are going to be playing a bit closer to the A site. We do have Burn in ladder, and what's that? Badger. Going to take a little bit of damage there at the top of Conflict's going to be dinked through the wall, but he does survive at the moment. 15 HP. Molotov coming out. He gets out just in time, but Destiny and Havoc both going to be the men to pick up those frags.
Where are the trades coming in here from Sydney Chiefs? They're not setting these crossfires up enough. How is Flicks getting isolated there on the ramp? Dizzy should have been potentially looking for that trade, but obviously something was preventing him from getting it. So in that instance, at the moment, as a team unit, Sydney Raw are looking far superior in that instance. And this is not looking like, a Chiefs that we expected to see. But as we know from the first match, it's a game of two halves. So I'm not writing anything off just yet. And I'm certainly not singing.
Oh, lucky that flash came out. Dizzy is in a very strong position to hold the A site. May even be able to stop this bomb from going down if the Raw don't take jungle control. But with this smoke, he could be able to play it as a one-way. No one up on Tetris, so he can't spot anyone for the moment. He hasn't been seen. Havoc getting that bomb, but planted, stops it for a moment, does get the info that Dizzy is playing over towards Ticket Booth, and we do see Ints slowly rotating over towards CT as well. Top Gun going to be the man to take down Dizzy there, and now Ints in a 1v4. Destiny and Havoc quite low, so it is winnable. We've seen him get the 4K before, but here we are, Havoc going to be falling. Info is gained from the Raw. Now that bomb planted on the wrong side of the triple for where they were holding, but Top Gun posting, hitting those shots, landing the headshot, and locking down the 11th round for the Raw.
Now that was always going to be a difficult round when you have 3 crosshairs trained on your position. Once your position's known, and what Raw did quite effectively there was they made sure that they doubled up. They had someone almost instantaneously there to put pressure back onto Ins. Now he's a fantastic player, but there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do in that particular instance. So, and Chiefs at the moment really looking like they're under the pump.
Insanity spotted this one. He gets the spray down. Dizzy unable to push mid there. We do see Raw taking that early mid control. Burn may be able to play that smoke, push through it potentially. Don't know if that's what we're going to see. May just spot Con for the moment. Infrequent. Molotov out. Full trust in his teammates that no one's going to be pushing through those smokes.
Yeah, look, that's an interesting tactic. Risk v reward at the moment, but I believe Chiefs need to be taking potentially some risks here because what they're doing has been disassembled so far. Flicks, that's a fantastic frag from him. He has a power position there on the ramp, but unbeknownst to him, that's not exactly where the action is just yet. So they've been able to retain a gun. Flicks is alive. It's back to a 4 versus 4. There's still a minute left to play with. The Chiefs are looking dangerous here.
We did actually see him not only pick up the AK, but he got the info that there was no one else at A main, and we do see the slow rotate starting to come out. Ints with the CZ, making his way over towards Market. Burn just picked up a frag and an AK on short, so this is looking a little bit dire for the Raw. They can connect these shots, they can still win the round, but they don't have the man advantage right now. Infrequent with the AWP going to be taking down Badger. Havoc finding one on the Ints, getting that trade, and now in a 2v2 situation. The Chiefs Burn coming in from apartments. Flicks making a bit of noise, but staying safe. Just for the moment, Havoc may be caught off guard here. Goes to plant default. Burn making some noise. He will get the frag onto Havoc, and the bomb goes down. Now Infrequent, last alive in the 1v2. Burn with only 3 HP, not looking good for him. But there we are. I did not expect that to go in Infrequent's favour. The man with the AWP in hand, he's picked up 2. Can he find the 3rd? 10 seconds to get this bomb down. He has retrieved it. But he's waiting, not tapping the bomb. Burn's just going to be hiding in the corner. Oh, is he going to go for it? Plants the bomb again. Burn going to make the move. He does have the cover for the moment, somehow stays alive. Burn, 3 HP and a dream, but Infrequent pulls out the P250. The man looking to hit the bullets. Oh, who's going to be first? And there you go, Burns. Going to hit the shot. Going to have the time to get the defuse. Rip the dream. Chiefs picking up their first round.
And they're on the board.
They're on the board.
But look, one shot from either player there could have won it. Let's be real, that was going either way. And it's certainly a relief for Chiefs here as they get that round to go their way. So hopefully they can rebuild here, maybe take, wrestle some of that momentum away from Raw. And they're certainly going to need to because they're going to then go swap onto that T side. Now, as we said, the way that the game's structured, the CT side, the defensive side, they've got the luxury of just sitting back and defending. So inherently, the game is obviously a lot easier for them. The nature of these bomb sites, though, and how mid is being exploited, how the pressure and the push and the pull from either of these teams is being exerted is going to determine our outcome. So it's important that they give themselves as many rounds to work with here and not place so much pressure on that pistol.
Looks like Raw, they're going to play a little bit more passive now that they've given up that first round to Chiefs. Although, while we're still here, comeback train. I reckon it's starting to chew.
Yeah, well, luckily for them, trains still run on Saturdays.
Oh, wow. Anyway.
You lasted longer than I thought you would.
What?
In terms of laughter. You're going well.
I'm trying my hardest not to have a breakdown on stream, all right? I'll do it after.
Tell you what, you take a moment, you drink it through, I'll continue. Anyway, Chiefs. Looking like they need to defend this bomb site with dire urgency at the moment. As we said, they're 11-1 down. The smokes will come in. The frag goes the way of Infrequent. He has looked like his former self, quite sharp. 3 opening frags here for the Raw. Ins provide some resistance, and he is eventually overwhelmed there. Tell you what, Insanity, just flying like that smoke through a madman and catching Ins off guard. That's the aggression that they're playing with at the moment. The double from Badger. And he needs to find 2 more, hopefully not in the same circumstances.
Well, it looks like he may be about to have a little bit of contact here at CT. Insanity ready, but he will fall back. Bomb's Not quite planted for connector, so he can't fall back there, but he will jump up onto triple, and this is a very strong position. Destiny may try to create a little bit of a distraction, but that shadow may have just been spotted. Look at that, wallbang coming out. Badger can't connect the bullet, but Insanity going for the crab walk, will get the angle, hits the shots, takes Badger down, and the Raw resetting Chiefs.
And that is a 3-frag round for the draft player. So he is currently sitting at the top of the scoreboard for the Raw. A player picked up out of the draft, out of nowhere. Wasn't playing in a team of any proportion. So he's now playing for Sydney Raw in the Gfinity Elite Series, and right now he is certainly having a field day as he is running over some much more fancied opposition. Now, back on this interesting buy, Dizzy, only one able to afford a rifle, some forced pistols in here. Chiefs need rounds. They've recognised that. They're taking some risks.
And it may pay off in just a moment. You just see Top Gun going for the jiggle peek. Ince gets some damage off, but it's not going to be enough. He does have Flicks there to back him up, and we do see the frag. The first frag of the round going in the way of the Raw, but Dizzy hitting back. Taking down Destiny. Havoc falls as well. Got in the way of Chiefs, actually. Wow. Had a brain fart there for a second. Anyway, we are back.
Stays in the brain.
Max back for a moment. Not sure for how long, but I'm here. And 5v2. The Raw still looking to pull this one from the brink.
They have to regroup, aren't they? They've obviously got superior weaponry, as we said, but look at the read coming out from Chiefs.
Yeah, but also Insanity just spraying through that smoke, making some noise, giving up the info for free. He did take a risk, tried to find someone through the smoke, but he couldn't connect any bullets. We do see Badger up in the corner. Burn going to be jiggling, looking for the info, but also going for the bait. And this could be strong. Badger holding strong. Perfect. Couldn't be better for Chiefs right now, although he does go for the pick. I think he may have just been spotted by Insanity. Is he going to check the corner? He will! And with the AK, perfect crosshair placement, lands that headshot. Badger goes down now in the 4v2. Are we going to see the Raw bringing this one back? Jumping out of window, Burn hiding in the smoke at Van. Spray down, not going to be too effective. Dizzy and Burn picking up the frags, and we do see the Chiefs picking up a second round.
Very important second round, as we said. Now, this is the issue that some teams face, is that momentum starts to shift. Starts to shift away, and look, if they get that last round, it still places a lot of pressure on that pistol round, but they have some breathing space. If they lose this half 13-2, not so much. Now, remember, it's the first to 16. So for the Chiefs, it's a very long, well, I guess a long way to the top for them.
If they want to rock and roll.
No, if you want a sausage roll.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because I've got them completely mixed up. Either way, this is what we wanted to see. Some aggression here coming out from Burn.
Oh, nice Molotov. That's going to force Havoc to peek in just a moment. He manages to pick. Wait, did he pick up one? No, it was his teammates covering him. Saw Top Gun picking up that one, but with the Molotov, Burn gets the frag, and we are left in a 3v2 situation. As Infrequent falls as well. Destiny getting the trade, and we are left in the 2v2. Flicks and Badger both with rifles. Top Gun still with the AWP in hand, and they do still have the bomb control. Badger looks like he's pushing into apartments, just playing for the info at the moment. But Flicks, after showing his positioning over towards CT, he's going to be coming in near crawl space. He spots Destiny, tries to get some damage off, but can't connect the bullets. Nice little flash. Going to force Flicks back for the moment, and look at this Badger pushing his way all the way into the back of apartments.
It's such a long way to this A bomb site, though. So, I mean, he's sort of stuck in the middle of nowhere. If they do choose to go A, it's such a long way for him to get to A at the moment. But a lot of this is going to pan on the back of Flicks and what he does now. If he can just continue to stay alive, get that information, if anyone does peek, he hopefully will punish them. But Raw have made their way onto this A bomb site, and obviously they're doing their due diligence and checking every angle, but that bomb will go down now.
Yeah, I completely understand why Flicks didn't go through the crawl space a little bit earlier. It definitely would have been better for his timing, but knowing that Destiny was around that area, if someone holds in jungle, you almost lose every single time.
Yeah, it's not very safe to play it that way, but the retake is on.
CTs, Chiefs. They've grouped back up for now. Flick's going to throw that smoke to Palace, but the read's not going to be too great. Destiny in a very strong position under balcony. He will find one, but the trade comes out. Flicks trading out his teammate, but Top Gun too sharp with that AWP, picking up that 13th round for the Raw. T-slide Mirage, not supposed to be a T-sided map, but they've gone and proved the Chiefs wrong, proved me wrong.
They've gone and proved every single one of us wrong at the moment. That's what they continue to do. So, I mean, it's been a fantastic car from Sydney Raw. I wouldn't have seen them coming out of the gates this hot, but in terms of the way that they're actually managing themselves, they're doing a fantastic job. And obviously, as we said, that CT side could be a real rocky road. And certainly for the Chiefs, it has been a really rocky road for them. But I do believe we're going to go to a quick break here. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. Welcome back for the second half of Sydney Chiefs versus Sydney Raw, the Sydney Derby here in week 1 of the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. Mac, Sydney Raw have certainly come out of the gates hot, and they're looking to continue that here into the second half. Are you predicting much of the same traffic?
Well, you know, we saw it just before the Order and Deceptors game. Deceptors looked really good on their T side, but when it got to the CT side, they just couldn't hold up. So we could see something very similar going on here. You know, the Chiefs, they could come out of the gates and show us exactly what we saw last game.
Yeah, well, they're about to get underway here, and I'm sure the Raw at the moment are chomping at the bit to get back in that second half, roll with that momentum, the punches that they've been able to land on their opposition's chin. Sydney Chiefs now, a lot of pressure on them, and a lot of pressure coming out of this pistol round, but these guys thrive under pressure.
And here we are. Looks like Badger's going to be the support player here, picking up the Molotov and double flash. Where are we going to see Chiefs going? Looks like they're going to be trying to head to the B site. Going for this contact play, waiting and saving the utility later on in the round. First pick coming out from Destiny. He hits that shot. Insanity finding one as well as Flicks. Try to be Superman, jumping around like a maniac, but it's not going to be too effective, although Badger are going to be picking up one of the infrequent. Now, in a 1v4, he's going to have to get the ace clutch to try to win this one, but the bomb is down in a horrible location. Over towards short there. What is Badger going to be able to do?
Badger is going to have to summon all his energy here, and obviously Havoc obviously making a play too, but there's not a lot he could do. Destiny, they've shut things completely down at the B-bomb site, and a simple grouping like that, obviously contact play, you try and overwhelm your opposition, you're all running through a single choke point. Sometimes it's like shooting fish in a barrel. It becomes way too easy, but it's a big risk versus reward play. So for Sydney Raw, obviously it just draws them closer to that match point, closer to that 16th round. But for Chiefs, there's a lot of work to do here, and they have bought into this round because they don't want it to see go to match point.
Let's see if the Raw can actually hold. We do see a couple of deagles here, but some damage has already been done. Ince, Willem and Byrne taking the said damage. Destiny making his way up onto the fence, but he whiffs the jump. Man, you need to hit the KZ server, I'll tell you that much. Nice nade though. Be doing a little bit of damage.
Some nice chunk of damage, the chip damage there coming out from that grenade, but they've taken this round very, very serious here. Sydney Raw got some rifles involved in it. Obviously Destiny there taking some aggressive picks, but the Deagles, they can do damage. They can punish you, Mac.
They definitely can, and we see Flicks edging out here. Nice timing on the Molotov. Ince, though, going to be caught on the wrong side of it. No teammate to go for the trade. If Top Gun finds the frag and the bomb, this is going to be dangerous for the Raw. Oh, for the Chiefs, sorry.
It's dangerous.
Dangerous. Dangerous, period.
Sydney is fraught with danger right now.
And here we are, Havoc with the Famous. Going to go for the repeat, and again, trying to hold wide. The Deagle of Flicks will get that trade. Insanity on the MP9. Finding the final frag, and the Raw take it to match point.
It is match point. Did you ever think that you'd see match point so convincingly so far from Sydney Raw? I certainly didn't think so. Sydney Chiefs, again, they're coming into this, they're buying what they can. They're certainly capable players. This is the round that they really need to show it. You know, it's like leaving an assignment to the 11th hour and challenging yourself with 2,000 words in maybe 6 or less hours. You just don't want to do it, but here they are.
I remember I used to do that. I used to drink a ton of Dare Ice coffee to keep me up. It was crazy.
Oh,
dirty shot coming out from Byrne there. Destiny on the end of it. This could be the lifeline that the Chiefs need. Oh, aggression coming out, but Top Gun ready for it. Badger quite close, holding his ground, but Top Gun hitting all the shots that he needs to. Infrequent taking out Flick somewhere else on the map as well.
Byrne hit a bell ringer there, but this is Insanity getting super aggressive. Could be punished. Not to be the case though. Dizzy. He's in a 1 versus 3 for the game, finds the first bullet, and now still has 2 more to find.
7 HP, 1 bullet, and he's done. There's no utility on the CTs right now.
They're so aggressive here. I think they might go for this double peek.
Dizzy's the kind of player that can hit these shots.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look at that. Havoc posting, hitting the shots, and that's it. The Raw take it 16-2, Jim.
And tell you what, that is a convincing start to their campaign in the Gfinity Elite Series, taking on a very favoured opposition in Sydney Chiefs and performing. Not just, I guess, performing, but proving doubters wrong. So I think that is a lesson to be learned here. The Gfinity Elite Series is certainly going to be an unpredictable one.
So obviously the spiel I was going on about Havoc's beard, that was all jealousy. Look at that. Proved me wrong. He can breathe. He can hit shots. He can do the damage and pick up the rounds.
He can certainly do the damage, guys. But those guys are going to be chuffed with themselves. Sydney Raw, the battle for Sydney at the moment, is retained, at least in terms of Counter-Strike, for the Sydney Raw. Sydney Chiefs, obviously, there's still other opportunities for them, other games to reclaim that title, but we might leave it back to our analyst panel. We're going to go back to Luke on the desk. We're back, game over 3.
Wow, another huge match. Chiefs getting absolutely destroyed by the Raw. Huge stuff. Don't go anywhere. Join us after the break and we'll take a closer look into how that match was won and lost. See you soon. Welcome back to Sydney and the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. We're looking at the last match we saw. Sydney Raw absolutely destroy the Chiefs. They beat them 16-2. A huge wipeout. We're looking at some of the action here. We can see as they completely wiped the floor with them. It was pretty one-sided, I think we can agree. Would you say, Kevin, it was a pretty one-sided match?
It was a demolition. There's no way of sugarcoating it. Sydney Chiefs didn't look like they were completely in the competition, and Sydney Raw just doing every little thing right, only losing 2 rounds, and really, given the grand scheme of things, losing 2 rounds against your Sydney rivals, that's not anything really.
Why did it happen that way? Tell me.
Okay, so I mean, in the previous game, we were talking about how economic management, et cetera, none of that was really a concern. At the end of the day, Sydney Raw, all their players just turned up and hit the shots they needed to. And when you're hitting shots like that on 4 of your players, it is very difficult. Chiefs needed to have a few more players step up themselves and hit the shots, and there was just nothing there today. absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it was a complete destruction, wasn't it? Also, how many games have you called right today now, Kevin?
Make it 0 as a matter of fact, which is...
0?
Yeah, I don't know. I think my job's in a little bit of risk at the moment.
Expert. CSGO expert?
Expert, as they do say, in inverted commas. But I was expecting a much closer game, in all honesty. So a one-sided blowout has definitely surprised me, and I think it will surprise a lot of people out there.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a look at these highlights, Kev. Let's see, what have you picked out here and why?
So we'll start with round number 11 first. So this is the one where I want to let's just pause here for a brief moment. So it's actually really difficult for me to see on a monitor, so I might just divert my attention here. But let's take a look at the mini-map right now. At this particular point, Sydney Raw, they have not lost a single round just yet. They are down 5-on-4. This is a perfect scenario for the CT side. We'll play from here. Notice how they're split up at the moment. Sydney Raw, they're just slowly working together in teams of 2 right now to take this map control off each other, and as a result, take the map territory off the CT side. Even if they lose one team, they're in a position to trade each other out. Watch how they're slowly just collapsing on the A bomb site. Communication is absolutely perfect at this stage. And the CTs, they're too spread out. There's no way for them to trade each other out. And this is the exact way you want to see the attacking team come back and win the round. I think that, and from that one point where they take down the 2 defenders on the A bomb site, there's no chance for the Chiefs really to come back into this. They haven't been able to get any picks. They've lost control from probably the best scenario in the first 11 rounds they've been in. And from there, Sydney Raw, just look, that is one of the reasons why they were so dominant, because they did all those little things right, even in the rounds. They could be up 10-0, they could have thrown that round away, but they didn't. They decided to slow things down, work together as a unit, and win the round from there.
Hugely tactical game. Hey, so what about next? What are we looking at here?
Next one was round 15, and I'll have to remember exactly which one this is. And as soon as it plays back, I'm fairly certain I'll remember what it is.
Cool, no worries.
And yes, okay, we'll just pause it right here first as well. So pause it back and wind it back a little bit. So back down to 140. And the reason why I wanted to mention this one is regardless of the results, the Sydney Raw did win this round. But the whole reason why I want to point this out is this is an excellent example of the aggressive game and the counter-aggressive game that the Ts and the CTs play. In this round, the CTs, Sydney Chiefs, they make the call to go take this mid-area control. And you can see there are 3 CTs at the moment. The blue color 2, 5, and 3, and they are in support of each other to try to take this top mid position. We'll let it play from here now. And as you can see, in the first part, the Chiefs, they've taken this fight, they've won the first initial fights, they're holding here, but look what happens. The rest of the Sydney Raw players are now coming out, they're using their utility, they're coming out from the underpass position as well, and they're trying to fight this player all at the same time. They're not conceding position, they're not going out one by one, they're fighting together in unison. And this is, once again, just Sydney Raw just showing that adaptability, where Sydney Chiefs, they try something, and you have to commend them for it, because that is something that is inside the CT playbook, so to speak. It just doesn't work out in this round because Sydney Raw have a better counter.
So they really were throwing everything at it, weren't they?
Absolutely. Chiefs, it wasn't just as if they just decided to let go of the gas pedal. Even the final round, you saw the Sydney Chiefs, they had a game plan. They wanted to win that final round, but Sydney Raw just giving them no mercy whatsoever, just completely shutting that down. And I think if we go into the next round, that's the pistol round. And Sydney Raw, as soon as they win that pistol round in round number 16, the first round after the changeover going to the CT half, there pretty much was no hope for the Sydney Chiefs. In this pistol round, we'll just pause it right here and we'll just see where the numbers of the CTs are. Notice how many of them are stacked on the B bomb site. This is what we call a B bomb site stack, and it's been a lot more common now on the pistol side for the CTs to actually put more numbers there. But what is unusual, if you look on the right-hand side of the screen, is the amount of grenades. Insanity has just thrown his high explosive grenade, but there is Luke Havoc there as well with the incendiary grenade, the fire grenade to delay any pushes. They've also got the defuse kit, which allows them, in case that they do have to go back to the A bomb site, additional time to get there in time. And we play from here. The round pans out pretty much just like how the T round played out for Sydney Raw. You've got the players there all in unison hitting the shots. There is no opportunity for Sydney Chiefs to come down. The first player just drops. They cannot do anything whatsoever. They've been completely locked out after the first 5 seconds. That setup is exactly how you counter something from the T's out of the B apps.
Huge stuff, Kevin. Huge stuff. All right, I think it's time for us to ask, can we find out who your Logitech Play Advance MVP of the game is?
Really difficult to pick this one out today because obviously a lot of the members from Sydney Raw are playing very, very well together, but you have to give it to Insanity because just the amount of freedom that the more experienced players gave him as well. They gave him a lot of responsibility. They went, okay, look, Insanity or Sean, you're the one that's going to be on the entry, but look at the flashbangs that come out. Perfect communication coming out from the more experienced members. He's just going to focus on what he does best, and Insanity coming in from a draftee, he's always been known as a very sharp player, and Sydney Raw just giving him the confidence as well as the luxury to operate. You can see that was rewarded perfectly. I mean, once again, Top Gun, you can give so many mentions to Top Gun as well as Destiny. Two old hands playing together perfectly in unison, rescuing rounds. But Insanity, well done.
Awesome stuff. Well, right now, can we have a huge round of applause as we bring to the desk the winning captain? Give it up for Havoc, guys. Make some noise. And huge stuff.
Kevin.
How you look?
That must have felt good out there, hey, dude?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah?
That was good. What a win.
Yeah, man. That was, I mean, right from the start, you were wiping the floor.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I'm not going to say I was surprised, but we weren't expecting it to be quite so fluent and so easy.
One thing I wanted to quickly ask is that in terms of, because I noticed that your communication, this is one thing that I've always respected yourself for as well as Top Gun and a lot of the seasoned hands is how clean it was. And if the audience members would have heard some of it as well, did you have that game plan coming into this in terms of, did you have a talk about communication or was it just like slipping into old shoes, so to speak?
Yeah, no, slipping into old shoes, but we're just trying to feed off each other and play around each other. If someone's feeling hot about going somewhere, then we just roll with that and work out a plan surrounding that. So Insanity was on fire. What a player.
Absolutely.
Frequent hit some crazy shots. They just played so well.
And what about, like, how much practice have you guys had all together, especially you and Top Gun?
Azad and I have been playing obviously a lot more than we did a year ago, but this 5 practiced for about a week and a half because we weren't sure what the roster was going to be.
Okay.
So not the best preparation by any means, but on the day we turned up and that's what counts. So I've sort of slipped into a bit of a IGL role, but not really. I just kind of see what everyone's feeling, what the general consensus is, and when you're winning games like that round after round, it becomes a lot easier because the pressure's on them to make the move, so you sort of your job becomes a little bit easier.
Amazing.
I want to just quickly ask, how did you guys decide to integrate Infrequent as well as Insanity into the lineup? I mean, I know that obviously you picked up the AWP a long time ago. Was it just, look, I'm just going to go rifle today, or I'll see how the situation goes, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, Jesse's a great AWPer and he's been playing for the last, year and a half since Azad and I have been away. But we'll always be AWPers, Top Gun and I, so we'll see what happens. Maybe map to map. Once we get it in the server a little bit more, do a bit more practice. But yeah, if he's hot, then he's hot. We'll just roll with it.
Well done, Havoc. Amazing performance from you and the team. Right now, let's cross to Ash, who's hanging out with a losing captain. It's a brutal word, but we have to use it. How's he doing back there, Ash?
Yeah, it is a brutal word. Thanks, Luke. So you guys lost the first 11 rounds. Your eco took an absolute beating. What happened?
Just weren't prepared, to be honest. We kind of came in with high expectations and we were a bit, I guess, lackluster in that respect, and I think we put too much. We thought we were always going to win, so I guess we took it too easy, and they took full advantage of it and made us pay big time in the end.
Yeah, they definitely did. If there's anything that you could change in that match that just happened, what would you change?
Them winning 16 rounds before us, but I guess it was just a little bit of preparation. We didn't really even talk about how we wanted to go about it or who was playing where. We were in freeze time asking who plays where, and I guess we just could have done a bit more to be prepared for them and have something to work on, I guess.
No worries. Thank you so much for your time and best of luck with all of the other rounds.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Luke. Thanks.
Yeah, where do the Chiefs go from here?
Really interesting to actually hear what Flicks had to say because he was saying that preparation that they will probably prepare more for next week. And we just heard from Havoc just then on that. They actually practiced together for 1.5 weeks. I think that actually showed the difference. On the T side, when you're trying to go in together, we saw one T side that we did see today from the previous matchup between Melbourne Order as well as the Brisbane Deceptors was more of a wolf pack, 5 people going hunting. But this was more of just a well-drilled unit. They were just going together, working in duos or trios and just taking map control. And the CT side, well, Sydney Chiefs, they didn't have much of the T side to play with, so you can't really crucify them for anything they did on their T side. Didn't have enough rounds to play with, but on their CT side, they just didn't have those protocols or just the proper checklist or reactions because they hadn't had enough time to actually drill it out. And I think that is something that they need to focus on into the upcoming weeks. I think for a lot of teams as well, their CT side probably needs a lot more work. The CT side is harder in some instances, and you can see exactly why.
Well, only time will tell what will happen. So stick around because after the break, we will meet our final 2 CSGO teams as Melbourne Avant take on Perth Ground Zero in the final match of the day. Don't go anywhere.